Hello. We wanted to take this opportunity to give you again a Friday update from Wellspring as the days and weeks continue during this time of COVID. We've used these Friday updates to just keep you updated, particularly making sure that this gets to our staff and families and residents and others who are out there who support and encourage us along the way. So this is just our way to keep folks in the loop, and so we appreciate this time to spend with you. Today we're going to start with something non-COVID for once. Some exciting things happening at Wellspring in the form of opening Michigan's first recovery high school for youth that are in recovery from substance use disorders. And so, Sean, I know you and your teams have been working on this for quite some time. The initial launch got delayed because of COVID, but we're right back at it and getting ready for January. So let's talk about that. It's very exciting.
Yeah, so this has been a bit of a labor of love for 2 years, and we're really excited that it's finally coming to fruition in January. And we decided that we just couldn't afford to delay anymore. So in January, we're opening first as a virtual academy with a in-person drop-in center so that the students will have an opportunity to be together in person to get support, drug testing, education, recovery support groups, peer coaching together in person, even while they're doing their schooling virtually. So we're really excited to finally be at this point where we're opening, and we look forward to full in-person instruction in the fall.
Yeah, that's exciting. And again, unfortunately, an example of a need that's growing. Mm-hmm. And so we will grow with it as needed to serve that population of youth and their families. And so that is exciting and really a testament to you, your teams, Wellspring, for being able to pull that together amidst a pandemic is really quite extraordinary. So let's talk about that pandemic, this COVID-19 world we live in. And I just want to start with sort of a high level review of what's going on in the state of Michigan, and then I'll invite Sean to talk a little bit about how it's impacting Wellspring. And I think from the sort of macro data that we look at in Michigan, there's actually a good news that's sort of forming here, some optimism to be had. When we look at the new daily cases that are tracked each day, we've actually seen this second spike this fall reach a peak. And that peak occurred actually on November 20th, nearly a full week before Thanksgiving. And the 7-day average for new cases has been dropping nicely since. Now, we're not declaring victory, but we are identifying that the work that's going on to mitigate the spread of this virus is starting to pay off. And so we would encourage people to continue that vigilance. The other thing that we track is hospitalizations in Michigan. And when we look at that data, we see that actually peaked on December 1st and has been dropping on a steady basis ever since. So 2+ weeks of drop in that category of data as well. And so again, we're not declaring victory at this point, but we are recognizing that this second peak may be subsiding, at least for now, with vigilance really necessary to keep that going. So Sean, what are we seeing within Wellspring these days with respect to that?
So we're certainly seeing an increase in positives among our staff. Certainly with the availability of testing that we didn't have in the spring, I think we're identifying staph infections much earlier and with much greater frequency. Thankfully, what we're not seeing is really widespread spreading of infections among our residents in our facilities. And I think part of that is due to the availability of testing, which I've talked about. But the other is just really great infection control work that our staff continue to do in our facilities. And in fact, we've been surveyed and monitored by state authorities multiple times in each of our facilities for infection control. And in each one of those reviews, they've affirmed that the work that we're doing is top notch and that there are no significant weaknesses there. if any at all. And I think that's part of why we're not seeing the spread. So we're also starting to see a bit of a decline in the last several weeks of the number of infections that we're seeing, the number of positive tests. And I think that is reflective of some of the data that you just shared, Dave, which is good.
Yeah. Which is all great news, but just to reiterate, that does not mean we nor should you be letting your guard down. We are doubling down everywhere we can on those infection control protocols, on the testing. Everything we're doing is really focused to continue the trends that we're seeing, and so would really encourage you to do what you can as well out in the community as you go about your days with respect to that. And then last but not least, in terms of our chat today, is the topic of vaccines, which is, of course, all over the news, as we all really saw that exciting sight just the other day on the news of trucks pulling away from Pfizer and starting the delivery of vaccines out into our communities. We know that our nursing home residents and staff are part of the first phase of receiving that vaccine, and so we're gearing up for that. So, Sean, you want to talk a little bit about what we're expecting there and what's going to happen next?
Yeah, so we are partnered with our pharmacy provider, Omnicare, and CVS pharmacies. They will be conducting clinics on site in each of our facilities to distribute and administer the vaccine to our residents and to our staff. We're waiting for the final date for those clinics to be scheduled, but we expect them to happen before the end of the year or at the very latest in the beginning of January. So we're really excited about what will finally enable us to allow families to come back in to visit and reconnect with their loved ones. I think once we get some level of community immunity because of the vaccine and because of the controls that we have in place, we can start to get back to more normal ways of seeing each other and conducting business. So this is the beginning.
Yeah, that's a great reminder, Sean, that this is all about getting to that point where families can hug their loved ones again. And that's along with mitigating the illness itself. That is the sort of singular goal of Wellspring these days, is to do everything we can inside of Wellspring to get to that point, but also to be a good member of the community and a leader in the community with respect to getting to that place where we can reach that herd immunity, as it's called, and get to a much better place for all of us, but particularly for our residents and their families and our staff who have just been intensely focused on this for so many months now. So we're excited about that. We've got a lot of work to do in terms of education and prepping people for that vaccine, but that's all well underway. And we're looking forward to the distribution of that vaccine very soon within our organization. So with that said, just want to thank you for being with us through these videos. We appreciate your interest. We certainly appreciate your encouragement and really ask for your prayers as we go through this for all of us, our staff in particular, our residents, our clients, families we serve. All need the encouragement of those prayers. And so we ask for that. And until next week, thanks for tuning in, and God bless. Thank you.